On June 8, 2021, a bill was passed in Congress with very little public knowledge. This legislation, titled the United States Innovation and Competition Act, authorized $110 billion for advanced technology research over a 5-year period. A large focus of this bill is on the research, commercialization, education, and training programs in artificial intelligence. This is seen as being in response to fears of China's growing dominance in the field of AI. In response, China has criticized the passing of this bill and described it as full of Cold War mentality and ideological prejudice. China's embassy in Washington, D.C. has even gone as far to press U.S. businesses to lobby members of Congress to alter or drop specific bills that seek to enhance U.S. competitiveness, and warned U.S. companies would risk losing market shares or revenues in China. A rapidly developing multi-billion-dollar industry, China has steadily developed a national agenda for artificial intelligence development and has emerged as one of the leading nations in artificial intelligence, being seen by far as the United States' most ambitious competitor in the international AI market. A race to militarize artificial intelligence is gearing up. The clash of these two countries on the world stage is leading many to claim that the U.S. is challenging China in what is being labeled an AI Cold War. In 1945, the world was destroyed after the war, and there was nowhere to go but up in terms of development. The conflict catapulted the world into a race toward military supremacy and technological might. This paved the way for the development of radar, more advanced computers, and nuclear weapons. Intense competition between the United States and the Soviet Union to develop military technology defines the next several decades, culminating into what became known as the Cold War. This conflict was a geopolitical chess match which lacked the traditional bloodshed of wars past. Instead, the United States and the Soviet Union flexed their ideological and industrial muscles to prove which was the superior nation. Some would argue the Cold War never truly ended. Instead, it lay in a state of dormancy until today. Now we find ourselves in the midst of an AI Cold War. AI is widely recognized as being of immense economic value and is providing many other capabilities, including the potential for improved transparency, equity, and governance. However, this view is twofold, and its downsides can equal, if not outweigh, its positives. With the looming threat of military powered by artificial intelligence and increasing geopolitical tensions, the risk of a post-World War II-style Cold War is larger than ever before. AI is slated to become the most important device through which warfare will be conducted in the future. China, Russia, the United States, and other nations view AI as a determinative factor of their world power in the future. As Russian President Putin stated in 2017, whoever wins the AI race will rule the world. Militarily speaking, artificial intelligence is revolutionary for state military power. The People's Liberation Army, PLA in China, views AI as a factor in military power and civil-military fusion, just as the U.S. Department of Defense has similarly recognized how advances in artificial intelligence will change society and ultimately the character of war. Each country seeks to consolidate power through technological advantage in order to dominate the world stage. If one group achieves superior AI technology, then AI-enabled capabilities could be used to threaten critical infrastructure, amplify disinformation campaigns, and ultimately wage war. This threat of war could devastate populations in a way that is unprecedented. In 2015, an open letter signed by tens of thousands of citizens called for the banning of lethal automated weapon systems. And many are warning of these weapons inevitably falling into the hands of terrorist groups such as the Islamic State. This is leading to proposals for international regulation AI systems, with it being seen as an emerging issue for international law. This will likely require the institutionalization of the new international norms embodied in effective monitoring and informal diplomacy by communities of experts, together with a legal and political verification process. However, AI is a catch-all term for a number of technologies, and many are not even sure where to draw the line. At a November 2017 UN session in Geneva, delegates from over 80 nations met and were not able to agree on how to define such weapons. As of 2019, 26 heads of state and 21 Nobel Peace Prize laureates have backed a ban on autonomous weapons. Many experts believe attempts to completely ban killer robots are likely to fail, in part because detecting treaty violations would be extremely difficult. AI has the potential to be as transformative as nuclear weapons, and preventing expanded military use of AI is likely impossible.
Most likely drone swarms or something you're going to see on a future battlefield. And I don't think it's if. I think we're already seeing some of it. I just think it's a matter of when you begin to see
The more
it.
modest goal of safe and effective technology management must be pursued in its place. It is important to note that interpreting US-China AI development as an arms race or a winner-takes-all competition fundamentally misunderstands the nature of AI development and technological independence. American firms rely heavily on Chinese manufacturing technologies, and that reliance is likely to grow as artificial intelligence applications made in the United States are increasingly deployed in drones, which may depend on Chinese-made hardware. Trade and supply chain links aid both countries in further developing artificial intelligence. All these factors further bolster the interconnections between the two countries' AI sectors. But as a result of this winner-takes-all framing, a growing emphasis on one country to outdo the other threatens to push the two countries' tech sectors apart, potentially damaging AI development in ways we can't foresee. What do you think? Are we on the brink of an all-out war, or can this technology be harnessed to help human civilization grow?